Please make Tfue thumbnail for Warzone like face, replace and filter. This week's shout out goes to Wilco for commenting, nice video, up the wolves. If you want a shout out, comment something nice on the video, please, I beg. Ha! You thought I was going into the video. Instead of doing a boring video today, there's going to be 2 Warzone thumbnails. Yes, 2. I know, you can stop clapping. I'm putting in more work because you always seem to like this content. Well, I hope anyways. This video is going to be more engaging by putting things on the screen. So 3/4 through the video, I'm going to put a random word. Might be a number. If you put the secret word in the comment section, I know you're a true legend. First of all, you want to create your Photoshop template just like it is on the screen. Then you want to import your photos. I got this sky and you just want to resize it. After that, you want to get your background. I'll get this one here and import Captain Price. You just want to resize him over the top. After that, I want to get a kill feed template that I created. The link will be down in the description if you want this. Just resize it and put it in place. After that, you want to get a picture of yourself. I get this picture here, any picture will do, and I get rid of the background by Control X, Control Shift V using the marquee tool. Putting this into place, I need to flip it first and get rid of my neck. Control X to get rid of that. Flipping it, you go to edit, transform and flip horizontally at the very bottom. Once you've done that, you want to resize your face and get rid of it. You do this because you want to go and pen around the weapon. It's very easy, but it's hard. Like when you actually get into Photoshop, just take your time. The more dots, the better it'll be, remember. The more dots, the better it will be. Once you've done that, you want to make the selection and Control X and Control Shift V to bring it back onto the screen. Now, because I've done that, I can get my face back and it can get put behind the actual one. Now, I want to put my eye over the lens just like that, and then I want to erase my chin. Now, I've done that, I want to actually go onto my face and adjust the contrast by image and then auto tone, auto contrast, auto colour. Now, that just looks 10 times better with the thing. Now, adding a stroke and a outer glow to my kill feed. Now I want to add a little fade, a little outer glow to my character, so I just draw that on using the pen tool. Now I want to mess with the levels of my actual body. I end up doing this and I don't actually use it, but I mess with the exposure and the offset. Now I realise that the neck's pretty light, even though it's behind my face, so I want to pen this out and get that on a separate layer. Once I've done that, I want to make sure it's nice and go to adjustment, and I go to brightness and contrast. I lower the brightness so it's a bit lower, and I mess with the contrast just a bit so it's a bit darker. As you can see there, it looks way much better. Now I've done that, you want to go and mess with the shadow of the gun. I want to put a shadow over here so it actually looks a bit more realistic to here. Then I want to add a drop shadow to my gun, making this just a very small. Now you want to resize your character by distorting it, making sure the barrel is pointing at the thing, and I want to mess with the perspective just so it's pointing towards this. Now once you got this, I decide to get rid of my kill feed template and create my own. I import this one, going the magic wand and getting rid of the background by Control X. Putting this in the top corner, I want to get my text now. This is, I'll put 30, you can use any text, I use Burbank. Make this big, make sure it's in line with that. Now you want to import another background. So this is, you can get a separate box around that. You want to import your background, make a box with it, Control X, Control Shift V, delete that background layer. Now I have my box, I want to pixelate it, go to mosaic and up this. This is what people use if they want to blur something on a YouTube video. Now I've done that. You want to add the stroke and the outer glow to this layer. Now this is just to make it a bit more stand out so people can actually look at it and see how many kills you're actually getting in a game. Now this is the thumbnail, guys. I just end up resizing it a bit here. That's thumbnail 1 complete. These are the settings that you want to use for thumbnail 2. Make sure they're just matching up mine on the screen. Now these are the pictures that I'm going to use in these videos. Make sure you got these. Now you want to import the sky first. Turn that upside down by typing 180 in this top bar here. You want to resize this so it's stretched out all the way and you can't see no white lines. Bringing in the background, you want to lower the opacity on this. This is so we can't see it as much and it's like hid behind the sky. Importing the anime lines next. This is going to have a black background. You want to put an overlay screen on it. Screen is so it gets rid of the black, and then you want to get the snow particles. Again, you want to use the layer style screen. This just adds a cold effect because I'm going to try and go for like a sort of winter effect for this COD thumbnail. I'm making the anime lines bigger just because I feel like that adds a lot more emphasis on the lines. Now I'm importing this shotgun render that I've got. The link will be down in the description for this. I just need to make this a lot bigger and resize it in the position that I want. Once I've done this, I'm just going to go to the image and brightness and contrast. I'm going to mess around with these settings here a bit, just messing around, see what I can get, see what I can do with this. I end up not really liking it, as you can see later on, but I add a stroke in the meantime, changing the colour to white and keeping the size as it is. As you can see that it has all these white bits on it, so I end up erasing it. You can just, because it's a stroke, you can just go click E on the layer and erase it. It's not really that hard. You can just do this if you want to make it look a bit more neat. Now I'm importing my webcam picture. I just recorded a video and I took a screenshot using the app called Guyzo. Really good app, you should download it. The link will be in the description for that as well. I'm cutting off the top bars because it's a screenshot and you can see everything, and I'm just going to resize that where my webcam would usually be. Now I want to transform this by going flip horizontal, so my face is looking at the gun. I'm putting most of the webcam out of this, and I'm going to create a background for it by creating a new layer using the box tool, and I'm going to fill this with just pure black. Now I want to move this behind my webcam on the layers, and I just want to try and make it so it's actually fittable. Once you've done that like it is here, it should all be fine, and you want to just click enter on the free transform. Now I'm clicking on the box and I want to add a stroke to it. I'm going to add a white stroke, and I'm going to lower the size down just so it looks a bit more thinner. I want to add a drop shadow also, just so it looks a bit blurry in the background. I'm going to lower the distance but up the size and strength. Now we want to merge these two layers and put it behind my shotgun. I want to resize it and just tilt it again just so it can kind of look distorted and fill up the thumbnail as a whole. Now I'm going to auto color, auto tone and auto contrast this thumbnail and mess with the vibrance and saturation just so it looks a bit better with the colors. This looks too much, so I end up lowering the vibrance down, and that sort of does it. You want to have extreme colors on thumbnails to engage the viewer's attention. So once we've done that, what we're going to do is we're going to mess around with the settings on the gun again. Now I really don't like what's happening with the gun here. As you can see, I've just decided to pick this one. It does look like sort of like the confetti cannon, but I end up not liking it, so I'll change it in the future. But we're going to focus on the kills now. We're going to get this paint splatter, and we're going to put this in the top corner. Now we're going to get the headshot marker from one of the ones that I created before, and we're going to get rid of the background by going to the magic wand and Control X. We're going to put this at the top, very top corner, making sure it's nice and even. With the text, I want to put 40 kills because 40 is quite a high number to get, and hopefully we'll get people to click on the video. I want to put this in the top corner and mess with the gradient overlay, and I want to change it to orange just because I feel like that'll stand out more compared to the blue and people will look at it. Now you want a dark orange at the bottom and a light orange at the top. This is just so the gradient works a bit more better, as you can see there. Add a gradient overlay, just mess it around, tilt it a bit just so it looks a bit better. We're going to add a drop shadow to this paint splatter, just a very subtle one as well, just to give it a bit more depth. Now we're going to get rid of that gun because I really didn't like it, so I'm going to try and do it again, except this time I want to try and get it as blue as possible just so it matches the winter. So what I end up doing is actually going onto the image and auto contrasting it first, auto toning it and auto coloring it. Then I go onto the hue and saturation, and I up the saturation quite a bit, but I up the saturation quite a bit, and then I mess with my hue to make it blue. The hue is the colour and the saturation just saturizes it, so that is a lot more blue, and that is how I like it. And then I actually mess with the vibrance a bit, adding a lot more saturation to make it very blue, and the vibrance I mess with as well. Now I want to add a stroke onto this. Again, I'll have to erase the dots like I did before, but we won't want to see that again because it'll just bore you guys. Now I want to do question marks around here just to get it a bit more filled. Now we don't want any blank spaces in the thumbnail because that will leave empty spaces for people's eyes to not look at our thumbnail. That's not what we want. So I added a big stroke to it and a little gradient. We don't want it black, we want it grey. So we end up changing this colour to like a very light grey, dark white sort of thing, just so it adds that little bit of gradient over it. And then we're going to add 3 of these in, just resizing it. Put one right in the bottom corner there, put one in the bottom corner, put one right next to the gun, and we're going to put one right next to our webcam, underneath our webcam, and to the other sides our gun. This is just so it fills up the empty spaces, so there's no empty spaces, and there's a lot for people to look at there and a lot to gather. Hopefully you guys enjoyed watching me make these thumbnails. Don't forget to like, subscribe and comment your ideas down below for a future video.